Okay, I'm just here today with Dr. Wallach from Youngevity. How are you today?
Very fine, Angel. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you on the fly. I really appreciate that. And would you like to just tell YouTube about what you do and what you've been doing?
Sure, thank you. Well, first of all, I think my view on health is different because I have a degree in agriculture. My major was in animal husbandry and nutrition. My minor was in field crops and soils. I also have a degree in veterinary medicine. I also have a postdoctoral fellowship in comparative pathology, where I do autopsies on people and animals.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Yeah, my biggest project was with the National Institutes of Health. It was an 8-year project called the Center for the Biology of Natural Systems. Did over 20,000 autopsies, which was like 17,000 and some change on over 454 species of animals and 3,000 human beings and 20 million chemistries and 20 million slides of special stains, looking to see.
Sorry, how did you keep your mind, like,
sane?
Yeah, thank you.
Well, sure, when you do something like that, you have to have a purpose. It's not just something you're doing for idle purposes. At that time, in the early 60s, it was felt that pollution was going to wipe out the earth. And I was employed to find out what part pollution played in the genesis or the cause of diseases in various species of animals and human beings. And so what I was looking for with all these biochemistries and all these autopsies and the big zoos around the United States and in Canada was to find just how much pollution did have to do with the cause of degenerative diseases. And make a long story short, at the end of the project, there was a 1,200-page book that came out of it that's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure called The Diseases of Exotic Animals, which included the human material. And the bottom line of the study was, after these 12 years, was that every animal and every human being that dies of what we would refer to as natural causes instead of trauma, those that died of natural causes died of a nutritional deficiency rather than pollution. It was kind of a shock and a surprise to everybody. And there were 75 scientific papers in medical and veterinary and scientific journals, plus several books, including that big one. And at the 1977 point, I actually discovered the cause, prevention, cure of cystic fibrosis, a disease thought to be genetically transmitted in humans, and found that it was actually a mineral deficiency of the trace mineral selenium during pregnancy or shortly after pregnancy, and that it could be prevented and reversed just with supplementation of that mineral.
Wow.
And I got fired for it.
Oh my gosh.
Because the powers that be at the Emory University and the Yerkes Primate Center, which were national, working for NASA, the Space Administration, these are their monkeys for space. And I was doing autopsies on those monkeys that died of natural causes again.
Oh, you mean actual monkeys? Okay, because
yeah,
I thought
monkeys.
you were talking about like the people from NASA were monkeys.
No. These are NASA monkeys. These are little critters
Okay.
with tails.
I thought you were being like sarcastic about the
I'm
people
never
working.
sarcastic.
Sorry.
I might be aggressive, but not sarcastic. And so they fired me because they said, Wallach, you got to be sniffing glue. There's no way. Everybody knows this is a genetically transmitted disease, and now this is one you got wrong. It's not.
But why would they fire you over that?
Well, because there's thousands of jobs based on continuing that theory.
Oh, I see.
Oh, now you got it, right?
Yeah.
And so I was for the kids, and they were for the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's how I went back to school up in Portland, Oregon, became a primary care physician as a naturopathic physician, so they could treat kids legally. Mm-hmm. To save them from cystic fibrosis. And along the way, went to China, Qishan province, China, 1989, because there was a disease in China, in Qishan province, China, called Qishan disease. It was a cardiomyopathy heart disease where the kids under the age of 10 would die of a heart attack caused by a deficiency of this mineral selenium, the same mineral deficiency I believe caused cystic fibrosis. And I said, if that's correct, if those kids are there dying, 13 out of 1,000 are dying from the selenium deficiency causing this cardiomyopathy heart disease, then some of them have to have cystic fibrosis, if I'm correct. because they're both caused by a selenium deficiency. And that's not too outrageous, because calcium deficiency causes blood clotting problems, osteoporosis, arthritis, high blood pressure, periodontal disease, bone spurs, kidney stones, all these various things that don't seem to be related, but they're all caused by a calcium deficiency. So it's not too outrageous there'd be multiples of diseases caused by a selenium deficiency.
Gotcha.
So to make a long story short, went to Kishan province, did 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10.
Wow, that
died
must
of
have
this
been hard.
That's heavy. That's very heavy. But again, it was to save kids.
Yeah.
And so you have to do these things to save the greater masses. And what I found was that 35% of the 1,700 kids that I did the autopsies on, 35%, fully 595 of them, in addition to dying of cardiomyopathy heart disease, aka Kishan disease, they also had cystic fibrosis, and 100% of them, 1,700 of them, had muscular dystrophy. That was kind of a side finding we weren't expecting.
Wow.
And so we knew the cause, prevention, cure of muscular dystrophy. Worked it, since I was a primary care physician, I could treat kids with muscular dystrophy and cystic fibrosis. I was able to reverse the, quote, genetic markers, unquote, through supplementation. And this is called epigenetics, where you control how DNA and genes perform with nutrition. Okay, so this is called epigenetics. And my most recent book, which came out last month, is entitled Epigenetics, The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. And to back up a little bit, 5 years ago, we gave Jerry Lewis from the Muscular Dystrophy Telethon, Jerry Lewis, Jerry's Kids, he'd been putting on that telethon for 22 years, and so we contacted Jerry Lewis Productions in Las Vegas, which is his business, and said, Jerry, we don't want any money from the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation for research because we already found the cause, prevention, and cure of muscular dystrophy. Since these are Jerry's kids, you're the ones that kept this disease on the front burner for 22 years with your telethon. Do you want to be the one to make the announcement that the cure has been found? He got excited. He took all these charts to the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation, and the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation fired Jerry Lewis.
Holy cow.
Yeah, they fired Jerry Lewis.
So they don't really want a cure.
They don't want a cure. Right. They want the income stream looking for the cure. And
that is such BS.
Yes,
I
that's
can't
exactly
believe
right.
that.
Well, these two stories on getting fired for firing the cure for cystic fibrosis and finding the cure for muscular dystrophy, Jerry Lewis getting fired over that. These stories are in great details. Names are named. All the situations and days are in there. And the truth will come out. And it's in this book, again, called Epigenetics, and the subtitle is my favorite, The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission, because there, in fact, is not a single disease that's genetically transmitted. Anything that appears to be genetically transmitted is caused by nutritional deficiencies of the DNA. In other words, DNA requires minerals and vitamins and amino acids to function properly. And if they're missing, they don't function properly, and you get diseases. And many of them, which are biochemical problems, you can actually put the mineral back, and the genes will then perform properly, and the disease goes away.
How do you know if you're deficient? Like, do you have tests, or you just take the vitamins because they'll help you?
Two ways. You can do a hair analysis to find out if you're deficient in minerals. You can do an examination, or you can do a self-examination. We actually have these self-exam charts, and you can tell if you're deficient in certain vitamins, or omega-3 essential fatty acids, or amino acids. For instance, if you have white hair, regardless of your age, if you have white, gray, or silver hair, it's a copper deficiency. If you have...
even when you're older and you're supposed to have it?
No, you're not supposed to have it.
You're never supposed to have white hair?
You're supposed to be died 300 years of age with whatever your original hair color was. Black, brown, red, blonde.
So how do you get copper? Like, what do you eat to get copper?
Well, nutritional minerals, Angel, do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ripple ice cream. Okay. And this is why there's some people on earth that live to be 120.
Yes.
And people who do exactly the same thing, eat the same foods, farm the same way, maybe 1,000 miles away, all die in their 40s. And that's because the people who die in their 40s don't have any minerals naturally in their soil.
Gotcha.
Whereas the ones who live to be 120 do. Okay? So how do the ones who live to be 40 live to be 120? They have to supplement with all these 90 essential nutrients.
Yep.
60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids. And instead of hoping and praying that it's in the food, people say to me, well, I eat well, why do I have so many diseases? Well, that's because your plants only need 3 minerals and we need 60. And so if there's only 3 minerals in the soil, the plant is happy.
Yep. I
And so
see
you eat
what
this
you
happy
mean.
plant, which only has 3 minerals, you're only going to get 3 minerals from it.
Yep.
If you're 1,000 miles away and you're eating happy plants that have 60 minerals in it, you're getting 60 minerals. You're going to be healthier and live longer.
So do you also think that stress contributes as well to people losing their minerals maybe, or?
Well, stress can actually cause you to consume internally, biochemically, consume and use up your storages of vitamins and minerals quicker than you normally would.
Right, okay.
Okay, because it makes your systems go faster. It's like, which car is going to burn up faster if you don't have any oil in it? A car sitting in the garage or a car going around the track at 200 miles an hour?
Gotcha.
And so stress is making you like this car that's going 200 miles an hour, so you're going to consume your essential nutrients faster. And if you're not taking them in, and a good example are athletes. Athletes sweat, and sweat is not water. Sweat is a soup of all the nutrients floating around your blood. So if that athlete only drinks water, he's more likely to get a breakdown in his tendons and ligaments and cartilage and muscles and die earlier than an athlete who is supplementing with all the 90 essential nutrients, replacing what he's sweating out.
Okay, that's good to know because my son and my husband are both athletes, so
Then they better supplement.
they do.
fact-
They supplement a lot.
Yeah, you have to. And,
Yep.
and there's a tragic picture of a young man here in the club where he's only 21 years old and he was a champion rower here in this rowing club. And he's 21 years old and he died in his sleep the night after he had a big race.
Right.
Well, he died of one of these cardiomyopathy heart attacks where I did the autopsies on 1,700 kids. This is very
Yes.
typical. They'll die that night or even die during the race. You say, well, he was in such good shape. He just exercised all the time. Well, he sweat out all his nutrients.
Yes.
He's only drinking water or maybe tea or maybe one of these sports drinks that have 2 nutrients in it.
Yeah, those sports drinks are horrible.
Yeah, and so we came up with a sports drink called Rebound that has 100 nutrients in it. And so we actually have professional teams of all sports, and we have Olympic teams of all sports and individual athletes who, from every sport, including hockey,
Yes.
rugby, and soccer, and a lot of Canadian sports, who use our programs because they don't break down like people who just drink water or these other sports drinks.
Yeah, we drink the Vega drinks. They have plant-based essential minerals and yeah, not the Gatorade or Powerade or anything like that. We stay away from that because it's all full of sugar and
Gatorade has 2 minerals,
yeah.
and Powerade has 6.
Okay,
Our Rebound has 77.
that's amazing. Do you know what Vega has? Have you heard of
No,
Vega?
I have to read the label.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to read the label.
And so, what do you do to have fun?
What do I do to have fun? Get interviewed by people named Angel.
Okay.
But I meet new people all over the place, and
You
being
fly 300 days a year.
Well, no, I don't fly that often, but I fly maybe 175 days out of the year because some places I'll stay for 3
That's
or 4
crazy.
days. Have a central location, go out and have meetings. But
Do you find that hard on your body, like being up in the air and coming
No.
back down, or
No.
does it hurt your ears?
No.
No.
In 2 months' time, I'll turn 75. I'll be 75.
Wow,
in 2
you
months.
don't look 75.
Thank you. Most people think I'm about 50.
40 or
Yeah, some people think I'm late 40s, mid 50s.
Yeah.
And I've been taking the 90 essential nutrients, Angel, twice a day. In June, it'll be 68 years. And I started when I was 9.
Oh, you started when you were 9.
68 years I've been doing it.
So how did you get them how did you have all those minerals when you were 9?
Ah, that's the ultimate question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I began to eat animal supplements.
Okay. Animal supplements.
Yeah, I ate animal supplements. See, the animals industry knew this 200 years ago. The medical system still doesn't know it. And the advantage I have, the advantage my associates and patients have, is that I'm a veterinarian as well as a physician.
Okay.
And all my patients, they jokingly and giggly, they say, oh yeah, Dr. Wallach treats me like a dog, but I get better. And so I use everything that they've learned in the animal industry through nutrition for my human patients, and it certainly works.
So you knew this when you were 9?
Yes, ma'am.
But you weren't a veterinarian when you were 9.
No, but I was a farm kid. and I had
Okay.
access to
Oh, I
these things.
see.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, and I had what would today be called Tourette's syndrome
Okay.
when I was 4, and it got progressively worse and worse and worse. By the time I was 9 years old, 5 years into this thing, I was so bad with my facial cramps and grunting and making funny noises and things that all my friends thought I was possessed by the devil.
Oh.
Truly, they thought, oh, that Wallach, he's possessed. Don't hang around with him. And to make a long story short, my mom took me to an eye doctor named Mary Jane Skeffington. I'll never forget her name. She was kind of a sweet, grandmotherly lady, and she said, well, I can't find anything wrong with him, but he's got long eyelashes, and I believe they're hitting his glasses, curling around, tickling his eyeballs, and that's causing all this. And I'm 9 years old, I'm saying, nah. Then he no, she's way off there. So I said, okay, what do you propose we do about this? And she says, well, here's a Maybelline eyelash brush, and I want you to retrain your eyelashes. I'm starting to play team sports. I said, yeah, these guys will rip my arms off and beat me to death with my own arm. I'm using Maybelline eyelash brush.
Make
I'm sitting on
believe.
the bench. And so the next day at school, I went to the library and got a nurse's handbook and went through an index and couldn't find eyelid twitches and long eyelashes. Couldn't find that kind of stuff. So I just started in the A's and went down through the index until I got to cramps. And since I was playing sports, I knew the term cramps. And so I said, well, maybe it's a facial cramp. And when I went to the page it said to look at, and it said calcium deficiency. And I'm thinking, well, before the bus would pick me up to go to school, I had chores to feed the calves and big bags of alfalfa pellets with vitamins and minerals in it. And I remember reading the analysis label, and it said protein and carbohydrates and fats and fiber and vitamin A and this B vitamin.
You knew all this when you were 9 years
Yes, ma'am.
old?
Calcium. And so calcium, there it is. And so when I went home that day, I started eating handfuls of those pellets. The next morning, I threw the Cheerios out to the chickens. I put pellets in my cereal bowl and put milk with the pellets. My mom started to stop me. My dad said, no, maybe he's on to something. Let him do it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And within 3 days, the Tourette's syndrome went away.
Holy cow.
So I knew when I was 9 that nutrition could have a dynamic, positive effect on health problems that doctors didn't know anything about.
That is freaking amazing.
Yeah, so that's what got me going.
That's amazing. Wow. So do you eat a lot of sprouts and stuff like that? Or do you mostly just supplement? Do you eat raw food, for
I
example?
supplement my supplements with food.
Okay.
I take the 90 essential nutrients twice a day for a 200-pound man. I take a full dose at breakfast and full dose at dinner.
You're not 200 pounds.
No, but I'm 155 pounds, but I dose for 200.
Oh, I see.
So I take a little extra. And I do avoid bad things. I very obsessively avoid bad things like fried foods and
Yes.
oils and even olive oil and coconut oil, things that would oxidize and turn into trans fatty acids.
Oh, you avoid coconut
I
oil.
avoid it like the plague because
I
it will
heard it was supposed
oxidize.
Oh.
Well, people who say olive oil is good and coconut oil is good also thought the earth was flat and the sun rotated around the earth.
So I do oil pulling, so that's probably a bad thing then.
Yeah, I'd be very careful with oils. Now, if you get a coconut and you eat it, it's very good.
Yes,
But even apple juice is full of oxidized oils. Because apples are loaded with oil. Most people don't realize it, but apples are loaded with oils. So apple juice is the most
Okay.
dangerous thing for your baby.
I don't give my baby
Good,
any juice.
good. And so I avoid the bad stuff. I do take the supplements twice a day.
Do you
But
drink coffee and stuff
I
like that?
do. Well, I own my own coffee company
Oh,
called
wow.
Java Fit. It's
Is it-
organic.
It's a fair trade.
It's fair trade, yes.
Awesome.
We own the plantations in Nicaragua, and it is fair trade. It is, they're organic, totally organic. We have 5 different types of coffee, including the premium roast and the premium roast decaf and so forth. So I do drink coffee because it does have good antioxidants in it to help protect you from free radicals and oxidative damage. But I also eat very well. For instance, my favorite breakfast is 4 poached eggs, 8 to 12 ounce sirloin steak, medium rare, and then a baked sweet potato with butter and cinnamon, maybe a piece of cheese, and then my supplements.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
Yeah, and then for lunch I'll have salads without the salad dressing. I might use some sour cream or yogurt for salad dressing. And so I have a salad with maybe some poached salmon. I like poached salmon. I would also have maybe grilled chicken breast, that kind of thing. And then for dinner time,
Now, is all your meat, do you get it is organic and...
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, organic has a very useful part in our lives. It reduces the chemical load you have to appreciate that many pollutants in the soil, and this I was trained in and did all these autopsies, so I'm very familiar with this data, that many pollutants last 100 years, some last 1,000 years. And to be certified organic, a farmer only has to avoid spraying his fields for 3 years.
Okay.
So what about the pollutants that have been there for 97 years? What about the pollutants that have been there for 997 years? So even organically grown vegetables and fruits and nuts are not totally pollutant-free, but they're reduced. They're
Reduced, yeah.
And there's no recent pollution. So you really have to protect yourself against pollutants, even though you're eating organic. Okay? So it is, you have to be obsessive. I tell people, you got to be obsessive. If you're going to live today well beyond 100, eating well isn't good enough. Eating well organically isn't good enough. You must supplement, and you must obsessively avoid the bad things.
Now, I'm a vegetarian. Do you have any tips for someone like myself?
Yes, you can be a very successful vegetarian. I deal with vegans, particularly athletes who are vegans.
My husband is pretty much vegan. He's an athlete.
And
He's
if
about
he supplements
200
properly,
pounds.
if you were to supplement with, and we can do this, we do have a vegan way to do this with all 90 essential nutrients to maximize the benefit for the cartilage and meniscus and tendons and ligaments. You cannot do this for a prolonged period of time as a vegan. There's not enough of the right materials in there.
Yeah.
And the minerals that you might or might not get are random based on what minerals in the soil those plants grew in.
Right.
So you can't guarantee what you're going to get no matter how well you eat.
He eats a bit of goat's milk and goat's cheese.
You're not going to get enough minerals from there.
Okay.
And so, again, the goat's going to have as many minerals in there as the plants in which that goat eats. And the only way you're going to guarantee, especially a high-output athlete, is to supplement
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he definitely supplements.
with the 90 essential nutrients.
I'm not sure how many
You show me
essential...
the label of what he's supplementing, I'll show you.
It's SISI, I think
It
it's
doesn't, I
spelled.
don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to
I have
show
to read
it
the
you.
labels.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able
And then we add another, the omega-3, 6, 7, and 9.
That's good.
But it's coconut oil. It's all
yeah, bad.
bad. There's no fish oil or anything in it.
Yeah.
It's all plant-based.
Yeah, we have some from Evening Primrose Oil.
Yeah, I heard that was really good.
It's from Canada.
Yeah, of course, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Well, I think basically, regardless of how one eats, whether you eat meat or you're a vegan or you're a vegetarian or you're a ovo-lacto-vegetarian or you're ovo-lacto-pisco-vegetarian or you're ovo-lacto-pisco-pollo vegetarian or you're a vegan, it doesn't matter. If you supplement properly, you can be successful. That's the important thing. You have to appreciate that there's no flourishing third-generation colonies of vegans where that's all they do. They're vegans. And as soon as the baby's weaned off the mother's breast milk, they go right to a vegan diet. And then as they grow up, they have babies, and when they're weaned off the mother's breast milk, they immediately go to a vegan diet. There's no third-generation flourishing vegan colonies. It's possible, but they're going to have to be obsessive about avoiding the bad stuff, which includes oils, right, and fried foods, stir-fry. You remember, let's see, what's this guy's name who came up with all this techie stuff? Died at 56.
I don't know if I've heard of him.
Well, you never heard? I bet you have. The guy who came up with Microsoft.
Oh, the Apple guy.
Yeah. What's the other guy's name?
Oh, I can't remember.
Steve Jobs.
Yes, Steve Jobs.
He died at 56. And he was an unsupplemented vegan.
Oh.
The point that I'm making is he was very techie.
Yeah.
He was very, very wealthy. And his 5-star vegan chef killed him as sure as he shot him in the head by cooking everything with extra virgin olive oil and coconut oil.
Okay.
Gave him pancreatic cancer.
Wow, I really thought coconut oil was good for you.
Well, that's what they say.
Not to cook with.
But who are they?
Yeah, who are they, really? That's true. So it's actually bad for you.
Yes. In fact, I learned that back in the 1970s. I was working with the cystic fibrosis kids because the pediatricians who were dealing with cystic fibrosis kids, as these kids would lose weight, they were prone to lots of infections and things would die before they were 12 years old. And they very simple-mindedly thought that we could just keep these kids having some more weight if they would just keep their weight on. And they gave the entire cystic fibrosis community coconut oil. Killed them all.
Wow. What about coconut water?
Well, it depends on how much coconut oil is in it.
Okay. And what about putting coconut oil on your skin? Because it does really look
you
good.
absorb it.
Yeah, it looks great, though. It
Yeah,
makes your skin feel good.
Steve Jobs looked good, too, until he died.
So you're saying to avoid coconut oil?
Yes.
Like the plague?
Like the plague.
Okay.
We'll
That's
see.
great. That's
We'll do a
that's
survey.
awesome.
We'll do a survey in 10 years and find out the average age of people who died, those that used coconut oil internally and externally, and those that didn't.
That's been going around a lot on Facebook to use it, like from so many sources. The
It's
benefits
probably
of
our enemies telling us to use it.
it could be true, and making it seem natural.
Well, it is natural,
Yeah, I don't know.
but so is running over the cliff if you're a buffalo. I was just following the leader.
What is your necklace?
Oh, this is the Wheel of Life, of course, and this was given to me by one of the Ute brands in the Ute bands in Utah for saving one of their holy men.
Oh,
He had terrible type 2 diabetes and was 400 pounds, extremely overweight, and got him to lose his weight, got rid of his diabetes, and so as a gesture of thanks, they gave me this Wheel of Life, and so I cherish it. The only time I take it off is when I take a shower.
it's beautiful.
Yes, it is. I just so cherish this.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for letting me do this interview.
Well, thank you, Angel. You're a perfect hostess, and I appreciate you.
Thanks.